Because you look at Manchester City's recent form, Arsenal have had a couple of results, since the turn of the year that maybe opened the door to Manchester City, but it's just one win in 6. When you look at the opposition in there, does it feel like his side are missing big opportunities, Micah?
Yeah, not putting games to bed. I mean, obviously, Sunderland away is always a tough game. Chelsea was a late goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Brighton, they didn't play the best football.
But we're ahead.
But we're ahead. Manchester Derby, it was a freak result. Nobody's seen that coming. Obviously, they got the one against Wolves. But today in the second half wasn't good enough. And as soon as a team puts pressure, they can't deal with it. We've lauded Man City for how they play and the combinations, everything they do, so good to watch. But the last 6 games is not been a standard we've seen of all.
No, and it's only a 6-point gap with 14 games to go. This is not finished yet. Arsenal very much have the upper hand. Would you expect Manchester City, a team who have so many players who have a history of winning trophies, to have a bit more belief, Michael, however you want to define belief?
It's a tough one because when you talk about Man City and you talk about the players, the experience and how much they've won, you never want to write them off. And you always feel like Pep's going to come up with some formula to get it right. And in the first half, we thought we'd seen that. But in the second half, it just wasn't there. And I don't know if it's hoping they're going to get to that level, but the performances of the last 6 games have not taught me that they're going to win the league this year. And Arsenal at times have not been brilliant, but they're getting over the line. A big result against Leeds. And you're just looking for Man City to close the gap. And look, he said, 14 games left. Anything can happen. But I'm seeing too many bad traits defensively to tell me that they can go and win the league, because Arsenal defensively are a lot better than Man City.
I think as well with Pep today, he made a tactical change in the game when he brought on another defensive midfield player, Nico Gonzalez. I just feel the Premier League right now doesn't lend itself to trying to hang on to a lead. I saw it yesterday at West Ham United when the manager brings on Kilman to go with back 3. Straight away, the initiative changes. You start to sit back, you sink back, you get deeper. You give the initiative to the other team. The crowd get up. It just doesn't work. This league, it almost needs you to go, if you're winning 2-1, try and win 3-1, 4-1. And I think that's the mistake they made today. They started to sit back on it. Now, what does this do to the league? I think this will be remembered as the weekend that Arsenal won the title. I think it's that big a weekend for them. It was a huge result against Leeds. And to see 2 sides, Mikel Arteta would have been at home this afternoon watching the 2 games and thinking, I fancy Villa to beat Brentford. They didn't. And he'd probably see the second half thinking 2-0, this could be 5-0. He'd be opening a nice bottle of Rioja tonight, because this is it. I think this is a title done now for Arsenal. And I think they could go on win it by 8-10 points. I'd be amazed if they don't. They've got the players. They've been getting their own way lately. I think they've been getting a little bit anxious. The crowd, the connection between the two of them. The manager gets a little bit uptight, and I think that transmits to the players. But I think now they can start to relax a bit. And I'll be amazed if they don't go and win this title comfortably now. They've got the best squad. They've got the best players, and they've got, I think, and nobody really is strong enough to compete. Villa are doing incredible things, absolutely amazing what they're achieving, but they're running out of steam with injuries, etc. And you can see that Manchester City's form just isn't strong enough. They're not capable of going on an 18, 19 game run like they did a few years ago when they had Kevin De Bruyne at his best. It's just not in this team right now. And it just shows you, if you don't commit players, if you don't take opportunities, this league can bite you, and that's what showed today. And it wasn't a strong Tottenham side by any stretch of imagination. They just showed a lot of guts, determination. They threw themselves back into the game, got the crowd behind them, and it looked easy. And if anything, towards the last 15 minutes, I could only really see one winner, and that was probably going to be Spurs.
Yeah.
Is there an issue with goal scoring for Manchester City, particularly with the form of Haaland?
I think on a day like today, he didn't have an excuse, because Spurs tried to commit men forward, play really high. He had the opportunity. Maybe the ball came to him a little bit too late, but in terms of his all-round game, I wanted a little bit more from him.
But and not just based on today's evidence, but the fact that it's only 2 goals in the last 11 for him. And he does tend to have a little winter dip.
Yeah, in the other games, I would say it was more down to him not getting the ball in great areas. And then when he touches the ball, he had to score. Not many touches. I thought today was a little bit different because Spurs were really high, being really aggressive. There's times where Spurs were leaving 2 at the back. He come on and get the ball. Little touches around the corner. Just not cute enough. You know, when it goes up, it breaks down a little bit too much. And we can all look at his goal record. Fantastic. We talk about him, utilise about him all the time. He's amazing. But just these little differences. When you 2-0 up, can he keep the ball? Can he bring people into play? Can he score that goal to finish off the game? And the second half just wasn't there.
And off he goes. I didn't want to be drawn into the first goal, but if you were a guessing man, you'd probably say he agrees with Jolie and with Michael. But let me tell you this, they've let a 2-goal lead slip at half-time in the Premier League for the first time in almost 8 years. Last time that happened was the Manchester derby at home to United when Chris Smalling, of all people, got the winner. That's how unusual territory we are in here, seeing City 2 up at half-time and not win the game.
Yeah, that is actually surprising to me that it's taken that long, because I still feel they're frail and fragile with a 2-goal lead. I don't think that's as comfortable as it has been in the past. Like I say, the way they defend it allows teams to get at them, whether it's transition or direct play, like Dominic Solanke spoke about in his interview. So I still think there's elements of their defensive side of their game they definitely aren't able to rely on. I think in previous seasons, if they got 1 goal up, it was like, defensively they're strong enough to see this game out, and they're just not there at the moment.
No. And in terms of a title challenge, that's absolutely critical, isn't it, at this stage, if you're saying they haven't got a foundation to go and see a game out?
It is.
1 win in 6.
I've said to you for all season, listen, they're the nearest challengers to Arsenal. I can't see Manchester City winning the league this year. I've never been able to see it right from the start of the season. And even though they're second now, I still can't see it. I don't think they're good enough. I think they're in a transitional period, lots of new players. I think they're shaky at the back. I think the best player, Rodri, is taken a fair bit of time, quite naturally, to come back to form. I just don't think they're good enough to win the Premier League at the moment. In fact, Arsenal are probably going to win the league with a real low points tally, or they could do. I mean, they're heading for low 80s, which is a low number considering the bar that Liverpool have set, Manchester City have set over the last decade or so. This is going to be a low points season, and none of these teams at the moment have got the quality, the consistency to muster a challenge. They're basically handing it to Arsenal. And Arsenal are a good team, don't get me wrong. They're an efficient team, but they're not a team like we've seen in the last few years that are going to go and blitz the league and win it by 10 points because of their great football. They're going to probably, win it through solidity and, grinding out a few games as well, and, a lot of set pieces, etc., etc. Very good team, yes, but they're not been pushed by the real teams, the Cities and the Liverpools this season. And as I say, I can't see Manchester City challenging Arsenal, really. They're just not good enough. And, for them to do it, they're going to have to go on a real good run. And I just can't see, I asked Jolien, and Jolien said right at the start of the show, I can't really see City going on a 10-game winning spree. They've always been able to do that. But this team, I just don't think are good enough at the moment. It might develop to be that in the next year or two, but not at the moment.
Yeah, I echo that. At first I thought, do I see Arsenal dropping enough points for City to catch? Not necessarily, but I don't see them winning enough games in a row to challenge. Like Michael said then, I don't see them keeping 6 clean sheets out of 10 games and score. They will score goals. 100% they will score goals, with Semenyo now adding goals and supporting Haaland. But in terms of clean sheets, you can't be up 2-0, and we're talking about City dropping points when they're up 2-0. That would never be the case, regardless of what transitional period they're in. So, yeah, for them to go on now and have to probably win 10 in a row to really apply a pressure on Arsenal, it's a tough ask.
They've got to try and make that fixture in April matter, haven't they? The Etihad when Arsenal Cup.
Exactly. But in the meantime, they go to Anfield next. In the league, it's I can probably see them going further away than actually narrowing the gap at them as things stand. So that's going to be difficult for them. But hey, long way to go still. 6 points is certainly possible to overhaul for any team, but I just don't think that City have got that capability. And I see Arsenal as very, very effective. I don't think they're going to throw anything away. I think they're going to, soldier on and keep that distance.
Give the crowd something, and then they would come with you.
Yeah, for sure. I think we know we haven't been as good as we want to be in the league, and we need the fans behind us. And I think obviously the first half wasn't great, like I mentioned, but in the second half, when we got the first goal, they started getting behind us, got the second goal, and like I said, we grew with confidence and belief. And yeah, the last few minutes of the game could have gone on to win, like I mentioned. So yeah, it was great, and when we're all together, I think we can fly.
Was there just that sense in the first half, because of maybe the run you've had, almost like everyone had lost confidence? The team wasn't playing with so much energy, and then because of that, you don't get the atmosphere from the crowd.
Yeah, like I mentioned, we know we're not good enough in the league at the moment, but we're trying to build on it. Obviously, that's 4 games unbeaten now, and I think 2 draws in the Prem, but we want to start winning games for sure. We haven't got any easy games coming up, so we need to focus on that and keep building. But yeah, I think like you mentioned, when everyone's on it and we got the crowd behind us and everyone's got that confidence and belief, we know we can beat anyone.
Yeah, it's obviously a huge contribution from you. Just tell us about the first goal. Clever bit of movement to check back inside, and then is it you that gets the final touch? It's even from a few replays, it's quite hard to tell.
Yeah, I think we know they had a high line. So we wanted to exploit that at times, and I wanted to just play on the last defender, and it was a great ball from Xavi. And yeah, I took a touch inside, and it's definitely my goal. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Sorry, Dom. I think it has gone down as your goal, in fairness. It's just quite hard to tell. It's quite an unusual finish, I guess.
Yeah, obviously I think it was Mark coming in for the last ditch tackle, but yeah, it was a nice finish.
So talking of unusual and also brilliant finishes, talk us through the scorpion kick.
Yeah, it was a lovely goal, to be fair. I think
it was.
Yeah, I had to improvise a bit. Was great work from Connor, and the ball was behind me a bit. But yeah, I love those finishes. I'm trying to make something out of nothing, and when it goes in, it's remarkable. So yeah, I'll be watching that back a few times.
Yeah, I mean, there's one replay in particular where it looks brilliant. Did you look up at the big screen and see it?
Yeah, I did. Was trying to stay focused on the game, but I had the crowd cheering every time it was on the screen. So yeah, I had a few looks.
And lastly, quickly, are you fitting well? Because you hobbled off at the end.
Yeah, now I'll be good. Just rode my ankle a little bit, but I'll be fine.
Okay, well, you're the player of the match. Brilliant goal, brilliant performance.
And nobody saw that coming at half-time. And he's talking us through the 2 finishes. We'll come to the second one in a moment. That's straightforward. What about the first one? Because you're a goal scorer and you still don't think he scored this goal.
Oh, I would have taken it as well if I was him,
Yeah.
of course. But well, do you know what it is? It's a foul, in my opinion. It shouldn't even have been a goal. But
Really?
once it was I think it's a foul. And if it was given a goal, it should have been an own goal. I think that he might have the faintest of touches, but his touch might knock the ball forward 6 inches or something. It's Gehi that actually knocks it into the goal. But Solanke kicks Gehi's leg to get it into the goal. I mean, I think that's a foul. I think if that's the other way round, it's a penalty. If you take somebody's leg like that from behind and kick through their leg, it's a foul. And I think that was a foul. I thought Tottenham got really fortunate with that one, but they needed a bit of luck, and just shows you once they got that, then the momentum started, and they looked like the team that were going to go forward. I thought Manchester City were wilting in that second half.